I don't know, the first time I saw this film, I thought, how am I going to sleep tonight? I feel like you might be having a similar experience because, like, how are we supposed to go about the rest of our week like it's normal? I hope you talk about this film, and I can't wait to talk about it with you. Please help me bring out the director of this film, Dan Phil.
Okay.
Dan. This is unprecedented.
You like freaking out your friends?
Yeah, let's do it. Before we bio, just you folks, that's one thing. Starting with you and South by Southwest. Thank thank everyone here for coming out, and hope you enjoy it. Want to give a huge thank you to all the leaders or subjects who bravely participated in the film and put their trust in me. A lot of them are here today. Some of them obviously are coming up now, but had a lot of help and support behind the scenes, and I'm grateful for all of it. I want to thank my fiance, Allie Feinstein, who that's every beyond supportive and understanding while I consumed our lives for 2.5 years going down the UAP rabbit hole. And I want to thank Born Ready Films, Sheriff Center office here, one of the EPs. Your reporting arm, McDonald, super supportive from the very beginning. Key members for the production team are here that were in the trenches with me daily. I want to call out Colin Frederick is over here somewhere. So it's a line producer who got a lot of hats on this film. Couldn't done without you, buddy. Vincent Wren, our cinematographer, is here. William Bola, Imposer, did his job, is over here somewhere. My brother Andrew Farah is also an key on this journey with us. Now, I'd like to invite some of the interview subjects that are here with us. Let's see here, I have a list here. So, start with Brett Feddersen, former director of Aviation Security on the White House National Security Council. And then Commander David Fravor, former
UB0. Is here.
We got Dr. Garry Nolan, Stanford University School of Medicine, who was invited to CIA, AATIP, and UAP Task Force, and biological effects, UAP.
Jay Stratton, former director of the UAP Task Force.
Mike Boyd, former NASA official, member of NASA's 3 Key Study Team.
Lieutenant Ryan Grace.
And the half the Congress, Congressman Tim Burchet. He's now leader of the House
Task Force on the Depopulation of Federal Seabus.
And Andrew Gaulladet.
So before we start screening, there's other people in the audience that were in the film. We only have so much room up here, so I'd love for everyone to stand up just so we can give you a round of applause. So yeah, before we start, I'm just so grateful that all these guys and everyone here and everyone who couldn't be here put their trust in me, are comfortable doing this and bringing this information out to the public. Couldn't have done about you guys. And yeah, he's the world's game. So
You're right. Let's get this started. Obviously, this is unprecedented. It's groundbreaking. Thank all of you for your participating in this film, and Dan for making this film for us. This is obviously something that we could talk about for hours and hours, about all the things that you learned through the process of making the film. But now that it's been shown for the first time, what do you feel like is the most surprising realization for you?
for me, I would say, despite the fact that this is clearly a very serious situation and there's tremendously high stakes and leadership from both sides of our element, both parties,
are clearly on board, taking it seriously. Despite all that, the public is largely very unaware and totally in the dark. And so my hope is that this film changes that, or at least starts the process of changing that. And yeah, that's the most surprising thing for me when you meet very aware people, all the news, they're well read, and they're clueless to all of this. So I'd like to hopefully film will change that.
I think it will also, it's such good disinformation. I want to see like part 2, 3, 4 as things start to get disclosed. Jay, thank you for being here and for making so much history behind the scenes and everything. I know you helped so much in the process of making this documentary. Can you say a little bit about how it feels seeing, you know, a plan that you really like pushed into motion and all the hard work finally come to light in the public life?
Sure, up on the big screen here at South by Southwest. Wow. And this is for all of you, and this is just for humanity. And thanks, Dan.
Yes.
So, very important message, and I'm so proud to be a part of this and bringing this to you and really kind of turn it around on you, Ray. It's in your hands. Lots of time over the years, countless hours with Congress, with the executive branch, pushing this message forward. And what I want to say is, in those countless hours, I have given them information. I've given them not only the existence of non-human intelligence, but the address to go look to see it. And they were denied access. So with your help and your help,
Oh, yeah. Commander Fravor, you are, I think, the only Navy fighter pilot that I know about who seems super chill and calm, like chasing a UFO. When you were chasing them, being that calm, is the thing that makes you feel like the most worried about this topic?
Well, I will say, you know, it was 20 years ago. We didn't have the technology then. We don't have it now. We're not going to have it 10 to 20 years from now. So that's disheartening right now. What's the worst fear is that if an adversary gets it, North Korea or China or Russia before us, because it is so game changing and it'll basically take everything that we have today and make it obsolete.
Terrified. We're not ready. Congressman Burchet. Burchet? All right, thank you. Same be so right to be. August say yes. Oh yes, you're so happy that you're here. Clearly this topic, like we've said, is a bipartisan one. Do you feel like that should help us to feel maybe a little bit optimistic about what you and your colleagues in Congress can do and that you might be successful?
Sure, but I don't trust anybody except for I'm the reason we had the committee. The hearing in the House. I raised hell, and I was told I was going to be chairman up there. I think 18 hours before that, all of a sudden I wasn't chairman. You ever see me sitting in the chairman's thing? So there's a lot of things that work in all this, and it has nothing to do with party loyalty or anything like that. It's greed, power, it's corruption, it's everything that runs from Washington, D.C. And I am one of those crazy Christians in the world. I mean, I'm a fundamentalist. I believe Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and I don't pay to anybody that does. But wait a minute, I don't know when I have an offering or all fine. But I just, I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it one more time. Every night I go out and I take my dogs out to go to the bathroom. That time they go at 2:00 in the morning. They won't go like everybody else. And I look at those stars. And I think, wow, the light from those stars led there before the time of Christ. And the vastness of God's great universe is more than I can comprehend. And I just, I don't fear. I think it's just another one of God's creations. And I go to my deathbed thinking that. And I thank you for making this wonderful film, brother.
That could be. But be not fell positive. As we say in East Tennessee, it is crooked as a balanced leg.
the whole you show that war, then half of the people in this country think we're not alone. And guess what? Oh, NASA wants to study it. CIA wants to study it. You know what that means? More of your money. They already got it. Tell them to turn it loose. Kill a tree.
Yeah, I'm so excited to keep. For Brett Feddersen, I'm gonna have to read this. You were the head of aviation security on the White House National Security Council, and you represented the Federal Aviation Administration on the government's UAP Task Force. Do you feel like you are currently underestimating the safety of the flight issues that are talked about in this, and like what is actually gonna, the issues for the nation's air safety around this topic?
Yeah, absolutely we are. And I think history shows we underestimate quite a few things until they really kind of creep up on us, like 9/11. And then we're realizing, oh, we can just follow the signs all along. And so thanks to Dan for starting the conversation. I think, the December with the drone incidents we had in New Jersey, all across the country in the last couple of years, the fact that we've been trying, and Jay was big to pilot this, trying to get commercial pilots to acknowledge that they're seeing stuff and then report it back to the federal government. We've got a long way to go. We're still having problems with just identifying drones, but UAP should absolutely be part of that. DHS came out a long time ago with see something, say something. So if there's anything else I can say about underestimating it, it's in your hands. So if you see something or you know somebody that has it, don't be afraid. It's hard to identify things, but let the professionals take it, but make sure you pass it along. And we definitely need to have the government be more transparent in that ability.
Yeah, one of the things when I watched this, the idea that they don't use radar anymore was like, wait, what? Like, so many things in this bill. For Lieutenant Ryan Graves, you've made it a personal mission to really publicize the air safety concerns that were presented. Can you talk about what you think needs to happen to actually make progress in that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been working on this issue both with commercial pilots and military pilots since I got out. I learned in 2017 when the New York Times article came out that we saw mentioned here. I saw that as a cry for help, that there weren't proper procedures and line of access to be able to resolve this issue. And I took it upon myself to provide a resource for pilots and others to report to. What's very clear to me is that this is an ongoing issue for them. They have to deal with this in the course of their professional duties, and they don't have the proper tools or mitigation processes in place in order to deal with this. And so they're left out there on the front lines dealing with something that can be quite disturbing and quite powerful to people. And they essentially have to keep it to themselves without being able to share that or pass it to someone that can help resolve it. And that's what I'm working on. We need to have standardized reporting across the United States, both for military and commercial pilots as well as civilians. We need to have the proper resources behind that reporting system to be able to investigate, run down, and potentially advance the conversation about what we're seeing in the skies and provide those safety reports to pilots so that they can accommodate them, be prepared for them when they first see them. And I think this film that they put together is going to have a great impetus on removing the stigma that prevents a lot of those pilots reporting as well.
Oh, how Pluto's not here? Where's Hal? He's here.
There's. I was like, wait a sec, Garry. They'll think he's. My next question was for you. Since you have been a chicken, yeah, great kind of last interview scientist. Right. Yes, we're so glad that you're here. Okay. As a chief scientist at AATIP, I know, you know better than anybody, the breakthrough technology could be used for good or bad. And when we talked about the energy source of UAP and how it could be clean energy, but also weapons of mass destruction, you said that you would put your vote for making a humanitarian issue and opening it up to the world. Do you think that humanity can handle that responsibility?
I think so. I think,
behind the scenes when each of us are asked to be part of, say, a podcast or something, we all sort of shrank from it because it's, there'd just be too much chatter about what we did. The brilliance of what Dan Farah did was to quietly go behind the scenes, talk to 34 people, and say, okay, if you all come out at the same time, then you won't have that stigma associated. And so that made a great step forward. So given this kind of, general introduction to the topic, I think that to the scientists in the crowd, like Eric and me and so on, it opens up the opportunity that we can get more scientific collaboration. And so, part of, what I've done recently is, go before NSF and Senator Rands and so on, and talk about opening up exploration and scientific investigation to try to come ahead. But we needed to have a more open tapestry and, in the public. I think so. That's what I think Dan Farah did for us.
Well, no, yeah.
All y'all just take a little bit of step away from the screen for me. I know you're making my projectionist erase. Dr. Nolan, can you speak a little bit about one of the things I had never heard anything about was the biological effects that have been seen from people who've interacted with the crest and how it's made these biological changes on human beings. What are you hoping that comes out of the public being more aware about that piece of information?
Well, I think the first part of it is that, our servicemen and women and intelligence community operatives are being put in harm's way often at even they don't even know what's being done to them. And that offends me deeply as a scientist and somebody who works in medicine regularly. I mean, it was basically how I got brought into this, was being shown the kind of data that had people who clearly were harming. You just can't argue with it. And what was fascinating was, and this sort of gets back to the theme of stigma, when I approached some of my dearest colleagues at Stanford saying, hey, here's this data, I've been allowed to share it with you, and they asked, well, how happened? I said, well, it was UFOs. Oh my God, it is like, I'm sorry, I have something to do. And what was fascinating, and I think that this film is really going to help that, is this put together a consistent story told both with emotion and facts. And the facts aren't just these events happen, but here are the conclusions that we had actually dared to come to about what they are. And that's going to help me trying to convince my colleagues, both at Stanford and through, say, the Sol Foundation and the other things that we're doing, to feel more comfortable to come forward themselves. So this has done a great service, I think, Dan, what you've done here, not just to the community at large, but to the academics that I tried to serve.
Okay, for my goals, can you talk a little bit about the stigma and the around everything UAP and how that's created such a big hurdle for our country most specifically, and why it's important that this is the moment to address that?
Sure. When I was on NASA's UAP independent study team, we had a number of academics. And just for participating in the UAP independent study team, these academics had their careers threatened, not even for saying that UAP was real, but just for having the temerity of even looking at the topic. How can you conduct summits under those conditions where there's such bias and such bias? It's impossible. And that's why I believe the power of film. What Dan has done and the heroes that this space had to get is create a documentary. The power of film is South by Southwest putting it forward to push back on that stigma, to acknowledge the reality. We look at the power of an inconvenient truth of what that documentary did. Well, here's a really inconvenient truth. And thanks to Dan for pushing back. But let this film be a call to action. As Jay was saying, let this be a catalyst now for all of you to call your members of Congress, demand transparency, demand accountability, and demand the truth on UAP.
Okay, and for Tin Gaulladet, we've spoken a lot about, obviously, everyone was very aware of the UAP activity in the skies, but as the Navy Rear Admiral and the former Chief Oceanographer, which is the coolest job of all time, I think your expertise is more focused on the seas, and part of your testifying before Congress was about that. Can you talk a little bit about what you think should happen next with regards to that? And if you think like what is happening down there is a shock against what's happening up here, you just don't know yet?
Well, exactly. We have observed UAP in the oceans, but the oceans, as I said, are so unexplored. If we only have about the amount of research we're doing in the oceans, we're bound to learn more about UAP. And actually, that is what I'm making a call for right now, is that we have a large American ocean science enterprise with many ships that universities own as well as research institutions, and they operate drones and satellites to study the ocean. I think that little enterprise needs to get around, take seriously researching UAP, in addition to others like the space science enterprise. I think our whole American scientific enterprise needs to get behind this and take it seriously. And the one thing I've called for is I've engaged the new White House science advisor, a friend of mine, and I've asked him to put UAP research as one of the top items in the annual White House R&D priorities memo, and something that White House does every year. And when they do that, every agency has to follow it. And that's how we're going to get agencies like mine, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, as well as NASA and the DoD to help a whole of government research approach to UAP. Now, let me just say, Dan, thank you for this. And thank you for keeping that comment in about the Super Walmart.
I love that. Dan, I'm going to pass it back to you to rock us up. For what do you want to leave us with on this one?
Well, one positive report. I've been told by a few leaders in the current administration that the Age of Disclosure is playing a key role in their own efforts to relate to space security. So if you expect the film where it's released publicly to be part of a bigger picture of disclosure. So thank you all for being such a great first audience. If you guys enjoyed, please go tell your friends and family about the documentary. Spread the word on social media. If you feel inclined, please get on Rotten Tomatoes and give us a good review. And before we do too, there's some people that were really key to this that couldn't be here, that tried to be. I just want to drop a few names. Secretary Rubio was unbelievable
And supported behind the scenes, Senator Rouse, Senator Gillibrand, Bureau Zondo, for numbers high. All will help a lot to need to stop in. And everybody out here really what above and beyond, not just doing interviews, but helping me behind the scenes, guiding me, giving me the right introductions, and validating things. Jay Stratton, you man. So, thank you all. All your friends.
And don't forget, you can vote for this ability audio summary. I'm not sure what's going on.